What's good, bro? Recently, I realized that success is a journey, and a lot of times that journey requires a physical change, not just in you, but in your environment. So, how did I come across this realization? Bro, I was watching a video the other day, and it was something about changing your life completely in 2024. And a lot of people talk about, oh, change your life completely. Do X1, X, Y, and Z step. But this guy really went in depth in the steps of how he actually changed his life, the things he had to eliminate, the mindset that he had to have, the actions he had to take. So I'll put the link in the description, but it's a Jack video. Jack Hopkins, CEO of Testosterone, changed my life forever. Because once I started to reflect, I realized that a lot of these people that you see, they took a journey, they took a trip, they took a leap of faith. Some examples, right? Luke Belmar, he moved from Argentina to the US. Let's see, who else? My parents, they went to college in India and they were born in Kenya. And then after they came back from college, they said, oh, let's find more opportunity. They went to the United States as immigrants. Who else? Well, the guy that I was just talking about, obviously, Jack Hopkins, he moved from the UK over to Thailand. Brian Tracy, another one of my mentors, he moved from all over the world. This guy literally traveled the world in order to become. So a lot of people, they take this journey, this trip, and they go to college. But college is like a halfway trip. It's like, it would be as if you tried to drive somewhere and then you just stopped halfway and then you considered yourself done. There's still more work to be done though. You still have to finish that trip. And college is interesting because, yeah, you'll go for 3 months, but you never stay in college for more than 3 months at a time. Isn't that interesting? You're there September, October, November, and then you come home. You're there for December, and then you come home. January, February, March, come home. April, May, come home. All you do is leave and come back. You never actually get to fully become the person that you were supposed to be. So for me, I was in this place where I realized I kept trying to do work, but I would end up stumbling back, almost as if what I'm doing isn't enough. And it wasn't. Because I didn't have a good foundation. My foundation for wealth wasn't rooted in spirituality. It wasn't rooted in the good things. It wasn't rooted in the things I already have. It wasn't rooted in gratitude. So, they say easy come, easy go. What comes to you easily will be easily taken from you. But what you put in the work for, over time, developing yourself into the person that is actually attracting this into their life, the person that actually believes that they deserve this, developing the mind in such a way that, well, now you're like, yeah, I actually did earn that for myself. It wasn't just me, I got help along the way, but I did that. And I deserve the best things from life. Until you fully believe that, any level of success you have is either going to be here today, gone tomorrow, or when you get there, you'll have imposter syndrome where you feel like you don't even deserve to be it, almost as if somebody else should have it, not me. Because the inner work, that's the most important work. What's inside of here, how you react to things. So I decided recently that it was my turn to take a journey, because you might already know this, but I went to college for 1 year, even less. I went for maybe like 6 months before I had to come back home and reassess my life. It had just gotten so bad. Like, I was constantly trying to feel better and not doing the work to feel better. I was looking for something outside of me to make me feel better inside. But unfortunately, I didn't realize that whenever you seek happiness, whenever you seek pleasure outside of your own actions and outside of your own being, outside of your mind, there's an inevitable downfall. It's coming for you. There's an inevitable low associated with every high. Because what goes up must come down. And the interesting thing is, when it's outside of us, it comes down, but it comes down below our baseline. But when you exercise, you feel good naturally. When you read a book and you do something that's good for yourself, you feel good naturally. That can't be bought. So once I realized that I had work to do inside of myself, I stopped trying to make money. I had enough to live on for at least 6-7 months. And that's not by luck, that's not by chance, that's because I worked for it. So I knew I had enough to live off of. But I kept falling back into my bad habits. And I am a disciplined person. So why would I, as a disciplined person, knowingly choose something that's bad for me? I've been reading this book, You Can Heal Your Life, and it talks about how these outer conditions are just reflections of a symptom that's inside of us. There's a need that we're trying to fulfill. And so if you're feeling down, if you're feeling uncomfortable, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling like you're not good enough, like you should be achieving more in life, why do you feel that way? Why do you think you're not good enough, exactly as you are? Because maybe there is something you could do to be better. So why haven't you done it? I had somebody the other day, they called me and they told me, I need you to hold me accountable to read. And I said, what? In my head. I couldn't believe it. Why would I need to hold you accountable to do something that is good for you? I'm not asking you to do anything for me. So my whole perspective flipped once I realized that once people are aligned and once people are healed, once people feel well mentally and spiritually, they will naturally gravitate towards the things that make them feel good. If you're not naturally doing the things that make you feel good, there's something inside of you that you need to look at. You need to look within. Why is it that I don't feel like going to the gym every day? Why is it that you don't feel like reading? Why is it that you don't feel like sleeping early? Why is it that you feel like smoking weed? You have to go inside. That's where the answers are. And so when you're in a state where things aren't going right, you have to learn to accept yourself as you are and just love yourself as you are. I think that's one of the most underrated parts of self-improvement. One of the parts of self-improvement that literally nobody is talking about is self-love, self-acceptance. For me, that was the missing link. I kept trying to find the fastest way to quit this, the fastest way to make money, the fastest way to get in the gym. What I wanted to do was feel good about myself. What I wanted to do was feel like I was worth it. I could have probably saved myself a whole year if I realized the reason I was trying to fix everything outside of me was because I didn't feel like everything inside was okay. I didn't feel like I was worthy of being loved. And it comes from all of the experiences we have in life, all of the traumas, all of the bad experiences, even the good ones. They shape how we look at the world. So if you can build a good foundation, a foundation that's based on self-love and self-acceptance, instead of a foundation that's based on trying to get outside things, trying to get pleasure, trying to get girls. That was me. Most of this journey was started because I was trying to get girls. And actually, that's not a bad place to start either. Whatever motivates you to change is what you should take, because that's pointing to you where the work is, where the work needs to be done. As long as you learn to incorporate everything else and go on this holistic journey of improving yourself in every aspect of your life, whether it's relationships, whether it's money, whether it's family dynamics, whether it's social skills, whether it's spirituality, like these are all things you have to look at. These are all things that will affect your entire being. I neglected spirituality for the longest time. And I felt like I was just a shell of myself, a shell of what I could be, a shell of my potential. So if you start there, if you start with the work that you have to do with yourself inside, when it comes to making money, when it comes to having wealth, when it comes to abundance, it will come naturally to you. Success is the most natural thing that can happen to a human being. The only time we don't get success is when we violate natural law. I remember one time I was going to the gym with my cousin, and he had been here for a whole month. And we were going to the gym together every day. I was taking him to the gym that I go to. It's like a nice gym, and they have a $30 guest pass fee, which in my mind I was thinking, that's kind of expensive. How am I gonna pay $30 every single day for this guy to come in here? $30 a day. It's not reasonable, or so I thought. So I just said, you know what? Every time I have one of my friends, my cousins, whatever it might be, come into the gym with me, if they're gonna be coming on a recurring basis, I just tell the people at the front that this is my brother, because my brother doesn't go to the gym that often. But then I realized, wait, after doing that for 2 weeks, a guy at the gym made an offhand comment to me. He works there at the front desk, and he's like, as I was signing in and I was by myself this day, my cousin didn't come, he said, Andrew, I'm just wondering, by the way, how many siblings do you have? And as he's saying this, he's looking at the computer screen that has my whole family, mom, dad, brother, sister, and myself. So he knows the answer. And I told him, only 2. But I have a big family, you know? And it wasn't until about like a week or 2 later, as I was reading more about spirituality, that I realized, dude, I'm literally violating spiritual law. You cannot get something for nothing. That's God's power. It's not ours. We have the power to create our world through our thoughts and our actions and our feelings. But we cannot create something out of absolutely nothing. There has to be some form of matter for us to create it. I can manifest a peach by planting a peach tree, right? By doing that, by watering it, by fertilizing it, by taking care of it, I can manifest peaches. I have that ability. I know how to do it. A cat can't plant a tree, but I can. But I cannot magically make a peach appear in my hands without putting in the work. So you can't get something for nothing. I thought you could. Once I realized I'm violating a spiritual law, and there's a recourse for every course of action, there's an effect for every cause. I was like, somehow in my life, I'm limiting myself. If I'm taking somebody else to the gym and not paying and thinking I'm getting it in for free, when I'm not. I'm absolutely not. So I decided, bro, I have to go to a different gym. And I know this video was about the journey. So I left it at the end because I know most people are gonna be gone. Right now it's just the real ones. But I'm gonna be going to Bali. I'm gonna be taking a trip to Bali. And it just felt right. And the moment, the time is now. There is no tomorrow. Why save for retirement? so that you can live life at 65. There's not much life left to live. Wake up. The time is now. So I had saved money in my retirement fund. A good amount of money. And I was wondering what I should do with it. Should I keep it there? Should I just save it until I'm 65 and then I'll have a huge sum of money? No. Life is now. Life is not later. Tomorrow isn't promised. Once I realized that, I realized it was time for me to take my trip. Time for me to embark on the journey. Time for me to actually see, who am I? Who am I without the limitations of the people that are around me? Who am I without the subconscious digging that I might experience as me trying to be somebody that's constantly evolving, constantly changing? I look at myself 6 months ago and I see the growth that's happened. I almost look at myself like, bro, how could I have been so immature? And that's 6 months, G. 6 months. So imagine what would happen if I was living without those limitations. The sky is the limit. You got this, bro. Take your journey. Appreciate it for what it is. Realize that this is what you need to become the person that you are going to be. If it's calling you, then this is a sign from the universe that it's your time. Peace.